This is the question on everyone's mind. Is the ROG Ally worth it? And is it going to be a worthy competitor to the Steam Deck? If you want my own personal opinion, I think that the ROG Ally is going to be the most worthy opponent the Steam Deck has ever faced. Definitely far more worthy than any cloud handhelds for sure, but also, in my opinion, far more worthy than any other PC handhelds we've seen to this day. More worthy than the Ion Neo, GPD Win, Ion Loki, heck, even the One X player. In the West, I think this ROG Ally is going to outsell any of those devices due to the fact that it's from a company that people know in the West. They also have repair shops outside of Asia, so it's not going to be a hassle to have to ship your device to a repair store in case you break it. And yes, as the title implies, there have been some leaks. While I can't confirm whether or not these leaks are true or not, the fact of the matter is, this is the best information we've got outside of 2 videos from Dave2D and Linus Tech Tips. The coverage from both LTT and Dave2D are kinda covered in red tape. There's a lot that they cannot discuss because of speculation. They certainly can't give us hard numbers, hard frame numbers, hard battery life numbers, hard anything really. We do have to go off their claims, and honestly, this is a pre-production unit. This is a prototype. Things are subject to change anyways. So first, we have to talk about the known specs. We know that they have a custom APU built in, Zen 4, RDNA 3. You can already guess that this is better than the Steam Deck. If we take ASUS's word for it, the ROG Ally performs 50% better than the Steam Deck at the same wattage, and at 30 watts, it's twice as fast as the Steam Deck. Right off the bat, 50% more performance out of the gate at the same wattage as the Steam Deck. It sounds crazy. I can understand double the performance at a higher wattage, but having better performance watt for watt than the Steam Deck is unthinkable at best. And honestly, that might be the push needed to get the ROG Ally to keep up with modern AAA titles. You know, at least until like a few years later. We also have to talk about the elephant in the room. 1080p, 120Hz. It's a higher refresh rate display than the Steam Deck itself. Honestly man, I would love to play indie games at 120Hz. Just straight up. Those are the types of games I play on the Steam Deck anyways. But you have to wonder if such a thing is even feasible. A 1080p panel, 120Hz. No, most AAA titles aren't going to be running at 1080p 120Hz. They're probably going to be running at 720p 60Hz or 720p 40Hz if you prefer. That said, I really need to get one of these in my hands to really confirm these, you know? Also worth mentioning is how quiet the fan is. Yes, the fan is rated to be 16 decibels quieter than the Steam Deck's own fan. A 16 decibel difference really doesn't sound like that much, but remember, decibels are logarithmic. A 10 decibel difference is a whole order of magnitude louder. If we take ASUS at their word, the Steam Deck's fan is approximately 40 times louder than the ROG's fan. Of course, we don't know ASUS's testing methodology, so we should wait until we get someone like Gamers Nexus to test it out, you know? The next spec I want to talk about is the most interesting and most surprising spec, the micro SD card slot. On the Steam Deck, it's a UHS 1 slot, but on the ROG Ally, it's a UHS 2 slot. UHS 1 has a theoretical transfer speed of 104 megabytes per second. UHS 2 triples that. In theory, this is all very cool. Triple the transfer speeds? Sign me up. And yes, it is backwards compatible. You can bring your Steam Deck SD card over to this new device if you so desired. But your old SD cards are limited to UHS 1 speeds. You need a brand new UHS 2 SD card to make full use of the new speeds. The big issue is that they don't make high capacity UHS 2 cards. The biggest one I've seen is 128GB UHS 2 micro SD card. These UHS 2 cards are also far more expensive than the UHS 1 counterparts. So in my humble opinion, they're not really worth it. Who knows? Maybe in the future we'll get cheaper, higher capacity UHS 2 cards. The ROG Ally has smaller physical dimensions than the Steam Deck itself. It also weighs less as well. Much like the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally features 2 controller handles, which in theory should make things quite comfortable, but at the end of the day, you really need to get one in your hands. You cannot fully comprehend if a device is for you if you don't have it in your hands. Like initially, I thought the Steam Deck would be quite uncomfortable because it was so big, but it really isn't that big, and it's very, very comfortable in my own hands. There's also the matter of weight distribution, which I literally cannot comment on because I don't have one of these in my hands. Not yet anyways. I want to review it though. I would comment on the ergonomics, but you know, again, I don't have it in my own hands. but I do say the D-pad doesn't look the most comfortable. It looks not that great. I mean, it's okay for like 3D games where you're not using it to move around, but for 2D games, or better yet, fighting games, I don't really know if I feel comfortable with a D-pad like this. I just don't know if I like the feel of these concave D-pads, you know? And that about wraps it up for the handheld experience. But what about the docked experience? This right here is the secret sauce. The ROG XG. This right here is an external GPU designed to be used with ROG laptops. This GPU uses a semi-proprietary connector to interface with the Ally. This will turn your ROG Ally into a beast of a machine. You can play games that really don't play all that well on low-end machines. The XG unit also comes with a built-in hub, so you can plug in like USB devices as well. You can also output to at least 2 displays. There is one major catch though, that being that this is extremely expensive. Like literally, last year's XG units were over $1,000. They sell these units with top-end mobile graphics, which I mean is perfectly fine if they want to buy it. My big issue though is they don't sell them with more reasonable GPUs, like RTX 3060s. I also would like to see an accessory where instead of having a GPU built into it, they give you an empty GPU dock, allowing you to use any standard GPU you have lying around. I think a lot more people would get behind that. You provide a unit and they provide their own GPU. A win-win. And you can still sell the expensive units if so desired, Asus. I just want a more cost-effective option since you said that this was going to be priced competitively. Speaking of prices, that's what the leak is all about. In this leak, they mentioned that there's 2 models in 2 colors, black and white, and at 512 gigabytes and at 1 terabyte. The prices are $649 for the 512 and $899 for the 1 terabyte model. If the leak is true, then it literally matches the Steam Deck's price. They also mention a custom Asus OS, which is weird though because they explicitly mentioned that it runs on Windows 11. Maybe they're talking about their front end, but I don't know. They also mentioned Microsoft is wanting to market this device as well. There's also this one extremely interesting tidbit right here. That is, Sony releasing a new handheld device. I thought Sony gave up, but honestly, this is going to be very interesting to look at, especially if Sony truly does make a comeback. Are they going to call the PSP 3, or the PS Vita 2, or something new entirely? Anyways, that's the video. Peace out, y'all. If you like high-tech lowlife, you should check out the rest of my channel. And if you like the rest of my channel, you should like, subscribe, and spread the good gospel of high-tech lowlife. Furthermore, we have a community Discord server. There's a link in the description down below. Check us out.